All players of the mini main, light ease. Please make your way back to your tables, please.
Pigs in a prayer. No, not even.
I'm too pussy, that's all.
5 pigs.
I'm too much of a pussy.
Thank you.
No worries, mate.
You didn't make it.
No worries, man. No worries. It is what it is. I folded way too many good hands. Supposed like
Good mind you, you saw a couple of hands later, I folded ace jack and half flop in you.
Yeah, but that's pre-flop, not post-flop.
Yeah.
I would call ace jack. That's,
I should have found a fold out.
I'll just call. I see a flop. I don't know, maybe you flop too hard.
No, I'm looking now.
Like the hand that you two are up against.
Yeah.
That was... You've seen it?
I've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it. You're way behind, Jeff. Don't worry about it.
You're way behind.
I was way in front, you're saying.
You're way behind.
Sevens.
No. It was 10 minutes ago.
Not found at the
Players in the Goliath will back from your dinner break. Your blinds will continue at 8,000, 16,000 with 16,000 big blinds.
If it was me that shoved on him, he would call.
Dealers, please prepare your decks. Get your blinds and empties.
I didn't realise he had such a fold in him.
Big fold that was.
I think he'll call me, but then I think he'll call me because young Asian boy, bluffy,
Maybe.
and then Mishu has the beard, and
He looks like he can't make moves.
he just looks tighter,
That was a good move, though.
Fuck's sake.
That was a move.
Nice
And
bet.
without further ado, we are back underway in the Goliath.
Oh, was it?
Level 8,000,
8
16,000, 16,000 big blind.
The diamond.
But I'm always getting there.
And deal.
I'm getting lucky.
Yeah, you're getting there. It's true.
Ridiculous. These fucking internet kids buffing me.
Attention all players in the mini main, you are back underway at blind level 600 to 1200
this
with a
game
1200
is
big
too
blind
much.
empty. Dealers, please deal
Catch
all
me up.
section and
Jesus,
empty
you're
deal
trying
now.
a bust.
Where the card wrong, that's not what I heard.
Oh, I nearly had you as well, didn't I? I said, oh, jam a combo draw here. Didn't even jam a combo draw. Disgusting. Get out.
8 fold.
Floor.
1 fold.
He's playing poker.
Is he allowed to do that?
2 raise, 32,000, 3-2.
What's the lines?
816.
Okay. $90?
3 re-raise, 90,000, 90, 5 fold,
Fucking 8-4. 8-4.
7 fold.
I feel like this is your revenge.
Huh? It says 8-4 in the reader.
It was 8-4
It's not revenge, but
Shoot, ace.
because he had king 4.
2 folds.
I don't even care that you bluff me.
It wasn't even a straight
I'm just
draw.
gonna play my hands, pray for Jesus.
These internet kids clicking buttons against me and shit. Tell them, brothers. They're not allowed.
Tell him who I am. You should know.
He's a legend.
Really?
Yeah, absolute legend.
This guy's such a baller, he don't even come back after dinner. He's like, yeah, I got no bigs, it's alright.
Where did TJ go?
How are you going to check?
Oh, big blind's not here.
I don't
That's
have his
how it
number.
usually happens.
One raise, 35,000, 2 folds.
The carnage will happen. Go.
5
I
folds.
only had ace 5 cards. That wasn't bad.
I was bigger. I had a bigger
I'm
loss.
putting it out there, no one's bluffing me again today.
Smooth, let him get the wheel. Smooth call. And then call my jams and I'm bluffing.
Heads up.
Who's the wheel? Mitchell?
Ace club.
One check.
Say what's the wheel?
Five
I know, I
checks.
said, who's the wheel? No
Heads
one's
up.
the wheel. Look at the professionals.
One checks. Five checks. Heads up.
Mitchell
Checks. Five
won
checks.
more money last year than I did again this entire year.
Rightio. Welcome back. Braden Jinx here with you. 4 off the money
You're on tailed off, I would
in the Goliath. Just a few hands there. The players' dinner break is also our dinner break. Again, shout out to Clay over at
I thought that was going to get serious.
the Italian restaurant here. Is just something to behold. As Harvey Silva joins me, we both found ourselves at the same Italian restaurant, eating the same meal, and it's hard to when you find something that good to go anywhere else on a dinner break. But
Stranger Heat doesn't show.
Giving the spaghetti and meatballs a plug, are you?
again, they're that good. They were worth another plug 2 days in a row.
One of the great attractions of being here at the Sharks is
No, I didn't.
the restaurant area.
Obviously,
You've got
I'll
a
get
couple of
these on the
choices.
side.
One's the buffet, all you can eat. Very dangerous.
I'm sure it was pretty good.
And they've got a great little Italian restaurant. I'm sure you've been spruiking that. Does the pizzas and the pastas, and it was a very nice dinner.
I told us the last couple of times someone said
Haven't missed too much, I hope.
No, 2 or 3 hands about.
Oh, that's nothing, man. That gets cracked easily.
Yeah, that's easy get cracked.
That's me.
Any pocket tools is a flip.
with your,
Enjoyed your chat with Dipper after his win last night.
Had them all healthy stats.
He was
Some guy.
so happy he completely forgot he was on air. He was swearing like a trooper.
My phone
yeah, the only down is I probably should have
my
found.
phone blew up. Obviously we can't.
I probably should have found a 4-bet. That's the only one.
I don't think
I'm sorry, so sorry. My
You're
phone-
back, you're
I'm
back.
back. I'm back. Yes, after that interview with Dipper, my phone absolutely blew up. Obviously, we can't repeat some of the things that he said, and they were bleeped out for you on the video. But
Yes, our editor Jamie had a long night going through, beeping out all the. No, it was. I don't really get the whole beep thing. I think it just accentuates the fact that he's swearing. So.
that's true. But I just seemed to make it a little funnier. But it was just genuine Dipper. You know,
Don't do it half.
he's
Oh, no, yeah,
despair or no love for the GTO players and how they play. He's cracked the code, he reckons. But proof's in the pudding. 18 tournaments played this year for 17 cashes and 12 final tables.
It's crazy. So Michelle just trying to stay very calm here, looking down on the queens.
2 folds. 3 folds. Push that one.
3 bets, raise, and Ray throws his Jack 8 into the muck. So Ray's been able to maintain his spot on just over $1 million. Jack's dropped back now to 688. This is going to be Jack though. You expect Jack's chip stack to go up and down like a roller coaster because of the way he plays. So he's lost about a third of his chips since we started the broadcast.
You were worried about it. Yeah.
Definitely very on the looser side, but that's how he accumulates these chips.
Are you
But
all right?
you know, over $1 million when we started, down to 800k, could easily be 1.6 million by the end of the orbit. Wouldn't even be surprised to see him open this when he should basically never do so. But yep, they're bang. Ace-3 off's good enough. He's could see some fireworks here. Be interested to see how Michelle proceeds. This might be a 3-bet. I think we're going to opt with call.
Folds. 1 folds. 2 folds.
And discounted for Ray with the King 9.
I mind seeing Ray fold this. Hand underperforms, you know, against these 2 ranges, but Ray decides that it's too strong versus these 2 players, especially multi-way. Probably not a hand we'd like to take to the streets, but
You watch it 9-9 come out now. Because we've been seeing this the whole time.
3 checks.
nothing in here for anyone really.
No. But Jack,
5 bets. 30,000. 3-0.
I mean, what would have happened during that break too is that all these guys would have got information from their rail who've been watching the stream. No one's allowed to watch the stream if you're in the tournament. So you'll see there's no phones on the table, which is pretty unusual for televised poker. Most of the time you do see players with their phones out. They're, you know, watching, as we were saying yesterday, if you're Joe Hashim, you're watching golf highlights and, you know, you're not necessarily watching poker, but no one with their phones out here, and you are not allowed to watch the stream, even though it's on a half-hour delay. But they would have got plenty of information during that break, and I'm sure some of that information, as if they needed it, was that Jack's playing pretty loose. And the other thing that Jack would have found out was that his fold pre-break to Michelle, when Michelle pushed all in, that Jack was ahead 81%. So I'm sure all that information is taken into account when you come back to the table.
I think Michelle's quote after Jacques folded the hand, where he said, I think you were good. I reckon he might have known without the half an hour delay.
Yeah, I just wonder if he knew how good he was.
Yeah, exactly. Michelle rubbing that in.
Yeah, Michelle really had nothing other than a flush draw.
Of course, this is the Goliath.
Yes, so yeah, don't ignore that ticker going through. We'll actually get that fixed. It is the Goliath. This is the $2,500 buy-in event. It is the most expensive event here up at Southport. Jack with the ace-2 again. This time he's in the big blind and decides to call. All small cards, which is going to definitely suit Ahmed.
5 checks.
I tried to look him in there, but he didn't go to the bathroom already the whole time.
1 bet, 100,000.
And fold pretty quickly.
Seen too much of Ahmed around, haven't? If you do know Ahmed, if he's a local Queenslander, me and Harvey both from Melbourne, and trying to get as much information about the players as we can on the stream, but haven't seen too much of Ahmed around. So it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this $5,500 bubble. Of course, $45,000 up top to the winner of the Goliath.
And our short stack, Tees, do you
know
him at all?
No, I don't. I have played against him, but I don't really. There's not much I can really add.
Good luck,
as he does move all in
unless I call.
with King 5 off under the gun.
2 fold. 3 fold.
I mean,
He's potentially going to get looked up by somebody here.
no, he's going to get it
He
through.
might get it through, actually. Yeah. Okay.
As Michelle shows the 7-2 face up. Yeah.
7-2 is pretty well-known hand in home games. In our particular home game, if you win with a 7-2, you collect a small blind from everybody on the table.
Is it a small blind? Is it? I recently played in a cash game that was a lot more than the small blind per person. If the 7-2 got through, it just changes the entire game.
I think most people play it in my home game for the bragging rights of getting it through, not for the cash reward that you get out of it. But it's always, the table always explodes when someone shows the 7-2.
Or the person that folded to the person who had the 7-2.
Yeah.
You pay him. I'm not paying him for that.
Did that
7-3, of course, one of the most famous poker hands in Australian poker history. That was the hand that Joe Hashim was holding when he won the World Series. Heads up.
Flopped the straight?
Flopped the straight. Flopped the straight, and his opponent pushed all in on him.
I from memory, he flopped a straight, and it was 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
And Joe had 7-3, but Steve Dannenman had ace-3, so he had a straight draw as well. and there was an ace on the turn, and then he moved all in. And Joe has the so he did have top pair with a straight draw, but he was completely dead.
Yeah.
Well, 7 for a chop, but
Yeah.
you know that's not coming.
I don't know if Joe needed to induce the shove at that stage, but he did. There was a lot of talk going on before the shove happened, and
there was too. Now you mentioned that, I do remember
there was
that
something
hand.
like, you know, Joe going, "Well, go on if you want
You've got
to."
nothing or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of talk.
He's not picked on me enough yet today, Michelle.
And of course, Joe had a very viral
playing
moment
great
across the
fours,
poker
never
world
forgiving you.
earlier this year, folding Pocket Kings pre-flop at the WPT main event.
Yeah, quite incredible. It was
Correctly.
Correctly. You don't see that happen often. It was right on the bubble too,
Yeah.
and Joe doesn't play to reach the bubble. So I mean, while that was a factor, of course, it was all about his feel, and the only thing that made any sense to him in that hand was that he was up against aces. So yeah, very much a viral moment.
It was. I've got a funny Joe story from last year. We were in the 2.5K. We were in the 2.5K Centurion in Melbourne last year, and Joe was on my left, and I'm not sure of the gentleman's name, but he was on my right, and they were talking like obviously very, very close mates, and I was in between, and I just had my headphones on, and my my Commodore had recently just broken down on Keilor Road, so I had to drive my mum's car to APL. And then when I got there,
Just going to hold you there because there's a fair bit of money in this pot.
Michelle just ripped off the gutter on the river.
5 checks.
It's given Jack top pair. He's going to know that Michelle bluffed him before as well, so if Michelle chooses this big size, Jack might really have a lot of trouble folding this hand, especially to Michelle. He's going to have that stream update that he'd just been bluffed. And we've gone with...
And it's the worst thing to see the stream, isn't it? Because he's working on what happened earlier, and of
Snap
course
call.
he's thrown it in, and he's going to hate it. He's going to absolutely hate it.
He's fuming, and Michelle up over 1 million chips. He was just all in for 200K. Ace-9 versus Ace-King. Hits his 9, and look what's happened. An orbit and a half later. Over 1 million. And now Michelle, the path to victory will come through him. He's fuming, Jack. Doesn't he have a look at him?
Yeah. I mean...
What a river.
Yeah.
What a river.
It's quite incredible how often that one card that is the best card for someone and the worst card for someone comes out.
Can give you the nuts and the other player.
But, you know, we tend to see that card more than we see the blank, don't we? Oh, no.
Especially against Michelle, as we said. I don't think I've ever folded a pair against Michelle, let alone top pair, but he was just sitting there with the nuts straight. He's inevitable, Michelle. 200K, he was all in for his last 12 big blinds just 10 to 12 hands ago, and now he's chip leading the final table, and Jack under $500,000 after starting this table with over 1.1.
Yeah, he's lost half his stack in a pretty short space of time.
You were ahead.
Ahmed with the sixes.
But you never win
And
the pot. You never win the pot if it
it's
doesn't
not a
come
great
again.
flop for sixes, is it?
Unless you're going to pull the river as well.
That'll be the end of this. As Dylan's reminded us in the comments, I do have to finish my Commodore story, but
sorry. That was a big hand.
It was a big hand. I get, you know how involved I get as well, and I.
So he's actually kept
Peeled the
going
flop.
here.
There we go.
And now check.
One check.
This time just a check. Just a check.
So at the 2.5K, when I had Joe on my left, and I'm sure you would know who he was, but he was a fella on my right. Joe and this guy are very good mates, and my Commodore had just broken down on Keilor Road, and me and my partner at the time had to actually push it off before the tram came, so I had to drive my mum's car to APL. And in the middle of the 2.5K, Joe's friend asked him, "Joe, have you sold the Lambo?" And Joe says, "No. Well, do you still have the Bentley?" And I took my headphones off, and Joe's like, "Oh no, I didn't take the Lambo. I took I don't know what other car he had. I might have taken the Range Rover." And I took my headphones off, and we're in the middle of the 2.5K. I'm like, "I just drove my mum's car because my 1983 Holden Commodore is currently sitting outside of Nando's on Keilor Road. I got a Lamborghini owner on my left in Joe Hatcham, and he's mate with a Bentley on the right. I'll never forget it." I actually did say that out loud at the table, and Joe, who's a man of few emotions when he's playing, I got a chuckle out of him, so I thought it might have been quite funny. Not sure if he still has the Lambo.
Well, the only part of that story I reckon you got round the wrong way is I think Joe's got a Bentley.
Bentley, so. Okay, that's what I mean. The story's the
probably
point's
the
still
other
the
bloke
same.
who had the
Lambo.
Joe doesn't feel like a Lambo sort of guy to me, but I'm sure he does have a beautiful convertible Bentley. I've seen him driving that, so he may correct us if we're wrong. He may well be on the stream, or some of his mates. I certainly know that some of our crew, our poker crew, are watching the stream. They're all very good mates of Tony Hashem, who, when I came through after the dinner break, was still in on the outer table. So they're probably tuning in, hoping that we're going to see Tony on this feature table. And they would certainly be able to correct me.
I think also good to see Joe's son Anth here playing. He definitely bagged this event. Busted not too long ago, but Anth, a great player. Anth, Daniel, Tony, they're all great players in their own right.
Very much.
Got a lot of time for Anthony. And
James, Joe's son, he's probably playing a little bit less now, but also very, very accomplished player and very accomplished businessman. James, he's done incredibly well.
Yeah, he has. Is it the skincare company?
He sold that skincare company. He's started that with a mate of his, and they did incredibly well. He's a very ambitious young man. He is all in here, and Scott has woken up with 10s. He pushes all in. Jack's got 6s. He's got to give it up, and it's a good decision. Unless, of course, we see a 6 on the flop, which is probably what's going to happen. And, Jack's going to just tip the whole table up if that happens. So the ace 4 suited against the 10s.
Good luck, Les.
King 8. Absolutely no help for Teese. Backdoor flush. Well, he has got the flush draw now.
10 of clubs.
He's going to need an ace or a club.
The king of clubs.
It is a 6. And did you hear the groan? Did you hear the groan in the background? That was Jack groaning in the background because, of course, the 6 came.
You did call it. You've been good at calling these cards over the week.
But we do lose Teese.
Oh, you were in big blind, were you? Oh, that's why.
And he couldn't call that with 6.
No, you can't because it's gone.
3-way.
It was a jam under the gun and a rejam from Scott, so we actually have to call incredibly tight there, and 6s is not even really a decision.
No, but he's still
for Jack, I'm not sure.
I'm going to get a groan out of him, aren't you?
Of course.
All right, good hand for me to
When it's not against you,
leave you with this Jinxie. I think you're going to have a new co-commentator come through as we now have 12 left in this $2,500 buy-in event. I'll be back soon for the climax of this. Enjoy. Bad feeling in that tonight.
It's what? Can't see from here. It's not grilly.
It's not.
Why don't you want grilly?
Just don't like playing this table.
He's a nice lad.
Oh, it's not got nothing to do with being nice.
One
Doesn't have
raise,
that many
36,000, 3 6,
Doesn't
2
have
folds,
much,
3 folds, 5 folds. Great.
We're back here.
7 folds.
Braden Jinx with you. We are 3 off the money, just to recap. $45,000 up top to our winner, and our highest buy-in of the week, $2,500. Our min cash, 8th and 9th place will walk away with $5,500. 10th will walk away with nada. And we look at these players on the table, so accomplished. Michelle Anunu, an APT main event winner. Ray Wang, APL million runner-up for $350,000. And of course, right in the middle of them is Jack, who's just as wild as both of them put together. We've got fireworks coming up on the bubble, 3 off the money. And we will be playing to the conclusion of this event tonight. We might be in for a late one. But it won't be a boring one.
Two raise, 35,000. 3 folds, 5 folds.
Of course, hope you stuck around during the break to catch my interview with Dipper. You know, one of those moments. You know, I'm not new to commentary. I'm not new to commentary, but I'm new to the, you know, the video-facing interview stuff, and it didn't even feel like an interview with Dipper. He, there are a few there are a few words there that we had to bleep out, but oh, what a character! What an incredible character of Australian poker. As we're 6-6 here in the. Just ignore that ticker at the bottom. We'll get that sorted. It is the $2,500 buying Goliath, and as we are 6-6, just remember, I'm commentating this to you as you see it. You know, I have no knowledge of what's happening from this delay, and I think what I can only bring to you information on the outer table that's sketchy at best. But I do think we have a few notables out on that table, and I'm trying to work out what stacks we're working over there with in our secondary secondary table. Of course, if you had us stuck around during that break, I mean, it's even worth rewinding. It's me holding a microphone and just letting Dipper talk, and it was an unbelievable interview after he won the grind. His 2nd trophy in 3 days, of course, got the better of me in the Joe Hasham Deep Stack. 3rd in the Players' Champs, and then took out the grind, beating Liz Busson, heads up. An 8-year-old from Belgium who plays Sudoku every day to keep her mind sharp, went heads up against Dipper, wasn't able to come out on top, but obviously Dipper the victor there. As I'm getting us some information from this outer table. It looks like Tom Maguire, one of the best players, probably one of the top 5 players in Australia currently, has all the chips out on that outer table. But hot on his heels looks to be Lachlan Crilly, multiple APT champion. Tony Hasham, we believe. We're being told Tony Hasham's got chips on the outer table. And it appears Matthew Ginn from Victoria is also out there, I believe. That's the best we can bring for you at the moment. So just to recap, you'll see our stacks here. Many notables here on this table, but on our outer table, Tom Maguire with all the chips. Look out. That's all I'll say there, but closely followed by Tony Hasham, the new owner, CEO of APT, who of course we had in the commentary box here on Wednesday for an unbelievable chat. So great to listen to Tony's plans for APT going forward. And Lachlan Crilly and Matty Ginn are also still in on that outer table. So you know, there's a few of these notables. If they get to the final table, it's just been an absolute treat in terms of the poker we've seen since we started coverage here on Tuesday, and we've literally seen it all. Me and Harvey discussed part of the break that we've been so lucky. We've been so lucky that the quality of poker, and you know, at times unconventional stuff that's made things really interesting for people to tune in. You know, everyone in the room's got their phones open watching us, and so happy with your feedback regarding our new skin here, the 4-color deck. Thought I'd give it a crack. I don't think we'll be going back from the 4-color deck. Everyone loves that, especially those watching on their phone and, you know, portable, you know, their iPads. It's really easy to decipher who's got what, especially, you know, we're multi-weighing the flops out. Love that we've gone with this, and we'll see the blinds for every hand. You won't see them during the hand, but with this particular skin, you'll note that they're at the start of every hand on the top right-hand corner of the table.
3 calls. 3 players. Two checks. 3 checks. 5 bets. 50,000. 2 calls. 3 folds. Heads up.
As I come back to here on the turn in a set over set situation, obviously not sure that we'll oh goodness me, there's no way after the last 45 minutes of poker Jack has played. You know, got bluffed to Michelle, saw it on stream, but on this monotone board we still lose to Jack 10 and basically all combinations of flushes. You know, especially when Jack... Oh, he might have deciphered here that his opponent has a set. Let's tune in and see his thought process.
Why didn't I check the turn up?
Again, he puts all those time back chips in like he did last time when Michelle bluffed him off top pair blind on blind. Now, you know, we are looking at top, well, not top set anymore, second top set with that ace on the turn, but...
Not top set, I'm not even kidding.
You know, he's just told his opponent he's got top set, and now Scott is going to feel completely sick because he knows he's dead. He's got one out.
Ace high flusher. Could have a straight.
Jack listing off all the combinations of hands, and he's listed many that he's currently losing to. Let's just have a listen to him. That's a call. He's got 9s. You know, don't blame. I think, you know, Jack's always putting his chips in here, but we don't blame the tank on this monotone texture as well as Jack 10 too. But I mean, it's so hard to fold there, and obviously he's looking at the best hand he can possibly up against with the 9 of spades only to be able to come out to save Scott Redman. Stacks are close here. We could lose a player and be close to the bubble. As you might turn it down after some of the... But really, set over set, basically no matter what. Yeah, I think the only action killers there would have been a club jack or 10, but yeah, there's so many runouts where all the chips are going in basically no matter what, and Scott's down to under 1 big blind, 3 off the money.
You had it this time.
Yeah. So I get confused when I have it, right?
Yeah. You didn't have it, and then you were betting.
Me and Harvey did touch on, you know, Jack's playing style is going to see him go from, 1.1 million chips, which he started off here 3 off the money when we started commentary, all the way down to 400k. But I mean, there's no issues with any type of play style there. It's set over set, and we're going to be looking back towards $1 million for Jack, and the force to be reckoned with yet again. Michelle as well with 1 million chips still.
Even if you had like 600k behind, you wouldn't afford it, right?
Why?
Probably not afford it.
Just ignore our ticket down the bottom there. We're getting that one fixed for you. It is the $2,500 Goliath. 9 pay. 9th and 8th are going to walk away with $5,500. We've got a 2 and a bit X bubble, 2.2X bubble, and $45,000 to the victor. Chime in the chat if you're familiar with Atif or Scott. Not familiar with either of these two gentlemen in seat 1 and 2. Who isn't familiar with Ray Wang? APL Millions main event runner-up for $350,000, multiple APT champion. I think he's won both a main and a mini main event here at the APT, and of course Michelle, an APT main event winner as well. No,
Stay away from you, Michelle.
Jack called, which left Scott with, if you've missed the end of that hand, Jack called Scott's jam, which has left Scott with what we believe to be under a big blind. But I'm just having a look at that stack now. It looks like it's more than... It looks to be more than one big blind. We'll get those stacks sorted. We're trying to get this ticker sorted for you too. Just a few issues here as I'm in here on my own trying to bring you the action. We'll get this sorted shortly.
I just had to think about it, and I realised that.
Love this from the chat, really getting involved. Don't know a few of these players. I mean, we're starting to find out that you know, Scott is a very competent player and a business from Newcastle, New South Wales, up here firing in the Goliath $2,500 buy-in here at APT. Good to see someone from Newcastle up here supporting APT. Had great numbers throughout the week. We've smashed our guarantees.
40.
Scott appears to be a King's Poker reg from Newcastle. If anyone knows Atif, let me know. Of course, I can bring you as much information as I can about these notables here and on the outer table. Of course, Tony Hashem, and from the last update I had on for you on that outer table, where we have 5 players remaining, it appears Tom Maguire has the rest of that table covered. Deary me, he's going to be impossible to beat. One of the top 5 players, in my opinion, in my mind, in Australia at the moment is Tom Maguire, and I dare say this would be the last buy-in he'd be playing in before he gets on a plane and jets off to Vegas. Notables on that out of the table as well. Tony Hashem, Matthew Ginn from Melbourne, and Lachlan Crilly from Brisbane. Now, we're one hand away from hand for hand, so I do apologise. I did take us through the grind hand for hand coverage myself. It's just in me in here yapping away, but you know, that hand for hand, as we all know as poker players, can be quite boring even when we're playing on the bubble, let alone watching. But I thought we did a good job at the grind, brought you a few really good stories, and we had some really entertaining hands on the bubble of that as well, mainly because Dipper had more chips than anyone on the table combined. No, just letting you know, that top right-hand corner, you'll see there's 11 left. We're 2 off the money. We're on the soft bubble. There's 11 left right up in that top right-hand corner. 66, 9 pay, 5,500 for 8th and 9th. And $45,000 up top. So we'll be our final table of 9. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic here. When we lose one more, we're going to go 5 and 5. We're going to have 5 on our secondary table and 5 on this table as will be hand for hand for the final table and the min cash. So we might have a really long, drawn-out process here, I think. And I'll try and bring you as much action as I can. We can see And, you know, I do apologise. I've mentioned a few times if you are joining in, we're getting that ticker fixed. It is the Goliath. It is the Goliath. The grind was yesterday. Bear with us. We'll try and get that done. Just having a few issues with the skin.
How did the Empire guys get you as their sponsor?
Not smart, I'm just happy to wear this. They asked me if I can, so fine.
Forget who runs it.
No one.
You didn't fucking ask me to wear an Empire shirt, did you? Can't imagine why. Wonder how many times they've had to bleep this stream.
2 folds. 3 folds. Four raise, 35,000. 5 folds.
I'm 300-ish.
Now just remember, when we have changed to the 4-colour deck for the stream, given the feedback we've got from that, we're looking to keep it, but
7 calls.
as a consequence, we just have those, we don't have the blinds during the hand. You'll see them at the start of every hand, and we're currently at 8,000, 16,000, 16,000. And you know, when the cards get dull, that is automated. Those blinds will disappear, and you'll be able to get how many are left in the tournament. But we are at 8, 16,000, 16,000. We're 2 off the money.
7 checks. 1 checks. 4 checks. 3 players.
Yeah, so a couple of questions, more than one, about Scott's less than 1 big blind stack, and that's an error from our end. We'll get those stacks updated, but he's got more than 1 big blind. Don't get me wrong, you're still very short, 2 off the money, but it's definitely more than a big. I reckon that looks like it's 120k, so that's going to be good enough for, what are we looking at here? 6 big blinds? What are we at? 8, 16, 16. So that's way more than less than 1 big blind after that call off with pocket kings in the set over set situation.
Three folds. Four folds.
No muss, no muss.
5 raise, 35,000. 7 folds. 1 folds.
Scott looks like he's had enough. We just heard at the microphone there, no muss.
2 calls.
Obviously made one of the most famous sayings in sport, no muss, as Sugar Ray Robertson pounded his opponent into his first ever loss, and halfway through round 6 said no muss, which means no more, which gave Sugar Ray the title. And Scott feeling a little bit battered after that. Set over set situation, down to 3 big blinds. Yes, I know. Bear with us. We're getting this ticker changed. I won't repeat myself again, but we are 2 off the money in the Goliath. I really want to stick with these graphics we've got. We've got so much good feedback about this 4-colour deck, so just bear with us a little bit. A couple of issues.
Over 30 minutes to do so.
Braden Jinks bringing you the soft bubble coverage of the Goliath. I feel like we could be here for a little while trying to get into the money, given that $5,500 min cash. If you are tuning into the stream, a couple of notables here on the other table. If you do, we've got some good information on Scott, great businessman from Newcastle. Got a lot of love in the chat. But if you do know Josh or Atif, players I'm not familiar with, let us know. We love knowing about what we're dealing with here.
Two folds.
You know, and look at the smile on Scott's face. The chat must have been right about Scott. Still very jovial after that set over set situation.
3 checks. 5 bets. 35,000. 3-5. 3 calls. Heads up. 3 checks. 5 checks. Heads up.
Are you checking?
3 checks, 5 checks.
Just the 4. Good.
I'm glad I didn't bet though, because we pulled that turn.
Nice hunter.
You got Queen Jack or something?
No. Not that good. I might bet Queen Jack.
We're going to do our best to bring you this bubble coverage when we're, just the way of these payouts are going to work. It appears we're going to be, after we lose the next player, we'll be 5-5, and that'll be the bubble for the final table and the money. So, a lot of thought process is going to go into these decisions, and we do believe Tom Maguire's got all the chips on that other table. So, we're going to do our best to try and integrate that secondary table into what's happening here. We'll be able to hear the hand-for-hand coverage from the TD.
How much?
But just remember, I'm commentating this to you as you see it. Can't see into the future, just like you. Half an hour delay on the stream here, just for the integrity of the game. And just remember that no phones allowed on the final table face up to watch the stream. Obviously, you can message your friends, and you can get support from your rail, just to let you know if you've been bluffed or if you shouldn't have called. But Jack finding out half an hour later that Michelle ran that bluff with 8 high and getting him to fold top pair, you could see the entire attitude changed after he found that out. Precisely 30 minutes exactly after that hand happened. Feel like we're going to have a lot of... all right, so we've got that updated. Scott does, in fact, have 3 big blinds after he defended there and had to fold. We always know you're never dead. And we're going to have a dealer change with Taylor. Interchanging with... It's usually Phoebe or Princess, but looks to be Phoebe in the booth. Lovely Phoebe's... dealt basically all of our feature tables through the week, very popular. We know Scott with 3 big blinds. You're never dead. You are never dead, but that was a 1 million chip pot there that he's lost set over set. Tournament defining pot for Scott.
There's only one short stack over there.
Big 4 is orange.
Don't say that.
Should be an all-in and a call here.
How much?
It's not over till it's over.
Jark's asked for a count.
Oh, cool.
It's a little bit of a... Okay, no, he's called. I was going to have a bit of a crack at Chuck then. Obviously, I know he wouldn't mind a jovial character, but I think he just wanted to confirm we weren't dealing with some type of 25 big blind jam. It looks to be around 14 big blinds that Josh is very standard here from both players. And if we don't see a 10, we're going to be on the stone bubble of the Goliath. And we're... Turned some extra equity here, and there she is, bang on the river. Broadway for Josh Goldsmith in a huge double. Over 500k now, approaching the bubble.
I can't have the player eliminated in the fucking bubble.
248. Jack of Diamonds doesn't help
He
either.
gets eliminated as a guy.
Because he has a flush.
Ray pointing out that Jack did have a flush draw there on the turn, so a couple of those straight outs were not viable for Josh, but there she was, the Jack on the river, the Jack of clubs.
Not a bad first.
And that means we will not be going hand for hand. We're still 5 and 6. Just remember, we've got 6 on the other table. 5 on the other table, sorry.
There's one player with my stack over there, so I was just watching that thinking, okay.
And just listening to Scott.
Keep the stream entertained.
Thanks, Jack, for helping us keeping the stream entertained. You're an entertaining fella, but I feel like there might be a 2 or 3 big blind stack out there on the secondary table. Scott's wary of that, so
you did have 3 outs.
maybe we'll be in the money a lot more quicker than I anticipated.
Come on, fellas. See, 2 is all in.
Scott's found something that's good enough for 3 big blinds. Dearie me, it's not good enough for 3 big blinds. It's good enough for about 50. Doesn't matter, and you know Michelle's going to be potentially looking him up with any 2. You know, Michelle is incentivized to keep the bubble going here. If you see him fold a really good hand,
You can crack those.
if you see him fold a really good hand, you know, this is a spot where a lot of people do get confused. Had a really controversial moment in Australian poker a few months ago where
You've changed.
8 Aussie Millions winner Shireen Varaya jam folded to a 1 big blind jam. And we know that Shireen had all the chips on that occasion and really wants to keep the pressure on that bubble going. So if we see Scott jam those 2 or 3 bigs, Michelle's such a clever player, knows that he's incentivized to fold some really good hands there to keep pressure on the bubble. Especially a player like Michelle who puts so much pressure on you anyway. But Scott's found another hand that's going to be good for about 5 to 7 big blinds. And what are we going to be looking at? Queen 10, and he's run into a wild Ray Wang with Ace Queen, of course. APL main event winner. And Ray comes with call. I did say as long as we don't see a 10 in the previous hand, we'll be hand for hand. And again, if we don't see a 10 here, Ahmed has what he thinks to be a decision, but this call from Ray is really strong, especially with Jark and Michelle behind. Ace 9 doesn't perform well in this spot. He's picked that up. Very impressed with Ahmed's play. As soon as I've jumped on the final table, you know, if anyone's got any information about Ahmed, let us know. But again, no 10 here, and we'll be hand for hand, 5 and 5.
Hey, it's a good time to use it.
Maybe we don't need a 10, but we can add an 8 and a king to the list of those outs. We know 2 of those are folded. Our new skin here with the 4-colour deck takes into account the folded cards. Just remember that, 9 outs for Scott once. And we are on the stone bubble of the Goliath. We'll be hand for hand, 5 and 5. And Phoebe does it again. I tell you what, she can eliminate someone from a tournament, Phoebe. And as soon as she sits down, we've had 11 and 12 left since I arrived here at Southport Sharks to bring the action live to you. Phoebe sits down and immediately eliminates Scott in 11th place. GG Scott, all the way from Newcastle, successful businessman, and that set over set pot changed everything for Scott. Nothing he could have done. Looked to make very good decisions before and after that, but we lose Scott in 11th place.
Ahmed, you see a short stack right there.
That's it's good from you, Dylan. Love your contribution in the chat today. Scott ran a monstrous bluff with the 5-3 of clubs, especially with that spade completing river. Potentially not one of those combos we'd go for, but he went for it versus Ray, who had the nut fush blocker in second pair and got the fold from a man. If you have played with Ray in these big buy-in events, you know he doesn't like folding. And Scott got that one through, but as Dylan says, Ray Wang, the inevitable Ray Wang, had the last laugh.
Pardon? Seat 2.
No, there's not many. There's no short stacks.
There's not many.
There's no short stack.
Oh, really? Locked and doubled?
Yeah, really?
Yeah, he was short when he last spoke to me.
He's got like 600.
Oh,
Yeah, he's definitely doubled, or at least maybe more.
Where's Tony?
He's still short. He got knocked out to the young guy.
What's he
Just
fuming?
get your blinds out for me, guys. 8,000.
Looks like it's going to be a long bubble.
Take it well. I don't know.
He has to though, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Can't wait for the break to cool and needling. I feel like you owe me like a walk or something at least. Hey. Seems fair.
Did you really have kings when I threw ace king away earlier today?
Yeah.
Did you have kings then?
What? Everyone thinks I'm an absolute lunatic. Like, what am I for bet ripping there?
No.
Just a reminder to everyone in the room, we have the lovely staff of Best Hand Shiatsu Massage. So if you're feeling tired, stressed, and need a massage, put your hand up and Anna will come
Well,
around.
no, because I think if you have queens, you think I'm more likely to have ace queen. Are we hand for hand then? Alright.
Gillis, can I get hand number 1, please?
Yeah, I was just trying to think about how I could get the money in that hand against you, and what would look weaker.
Four folds. 5 and
And I
7
honestly thought you'd probably call it off with ace king.
Yeah.
and 1 fold.
Just enough back, just to, you know,
High's good.
fine.
I don't have 9 high. 10 high. But a good hand. Suited. Suited 10 high. Close.
Nice playing with you, mate.
I'd probably cut that out of the stream.
I encourage.
Send the feral rope onto the thing and
Hanging Phil.
yeah, that's
We don't go check that. Keep the bubble money back in the
Are we
Losing,
9
I'm losing
final
too much.
table?
I'm in for 4 bullets. Yeah.
Maybe. Are we 9 for final table? Oh wait.
Yeah, to make $500.
on the bubble.
No, they're not going to agree anyway. It's going to take fucking hours.
Let's get aces.
Some idiot will get there.
Hopefully it's me.
Actions here. Seat 5 raise, 35,000, 7 and 1 fold. Seat 3 raise to 125,000.
I'm pretty sure you know I don't give a fuck about bubbling, right?
4
I'm
folds.
aware.
Okay, good. I'll fold then.
5 folds.
Just had to make sure you were aware. This isn't like a, oh no, ICM suggests I should make a big fold here. That's not a thing.
On the break, someone literally told me, this man doesn't care.
Was it him?
What? No, someone else.
Wasn't someone?
Watch out for the guy in the middle there, he doesn't care.
Good. I'll assume that you didn't 3-bet me light then.
I had one pair.
One pair was in front. I did have a quad draw though.
Bear with us. Apologies, you might have just overheard that, but just discussing with the producers here that we know the ticker is incorrect, but obviously because I'm bringing this to you as I see it, you know, when we make changes to our skin and our details, that doesn't come up for another half an hour as well. So ignore that. The grind finished last night. The Goliath is on now. We're hand for hand, 5 and 5. That outer table. We must wait for a hand to be completed over there before we attack another hand here. And
no, he was just on the cusp of being young enough to care.
As I'm in two minds whether to let the audience hear Jack talk. You know, I've heard some stories that maybe aren't for a PG audience, but it's hard to know what's going to come out when we're going live. So maybe I'll just keep yapping away until I hear an appropriate story. Very funny man, Jack. As I said, let us know in the chat. You've all helped us out with Scott a lot, but if you do know Ahmed or Josh,
no, he means the year.
Hit us up. Josh does look familiar, but I don't. I'm not sure that I can get the other name on that secondary table either. As I say, I can just decipher what I can see from here. Appears we have an all-in and a call. The players aren't allowed to go over as Phoebe lets them know that. And the boys sit right back down as they... the best we can do is we might have to listen to the TD in on this hand. I'll leave this to Alex Hansen, our Goliath TD, to bring you the action.
With ace 9 up against Tom Maguire's Jack Queen on a board of King of Spades, 5 of clubs, 9 of clubs, 10 of hearts. River card is the 2 of clubs, and we will lose rocks on our bubble, which
That's
means
it.
we are on our Goliath final table.
We're in the money. Oh, I was dreading having to bring you this coverage with so much space in between hands. I was worried I was going to have to yap away for a significant period of time. We remember the grind final table, the grind money bubble was extensive, but we're in the money. All players now guaranteed $5,500. And it looks like we are definitely in the money, down to our final 9. And as we count chip stacks, get our final table photos done, we'll be back in 20 minutes playing for $45,000. Tom Maguire, I believe, is in the chip lead. Michelle Anunu not far behind. This is going to be an unbelievable final table here at APT Gold Coast. Don't miss it. 20 minutes.